Mummy's smile might change.
Being open with them, I think, is the best thing. If you are living with young onset Parkinson's disease and have a young family like Shafaq and I do, we're just going to talk through some of our experiences, which you might find helpful. So Shafaq, you've got two young boys.
Yeah, they're not so young anymore. They're 14 and 16.
Gosh, they're not so young. Did you, when you found out you had young onset Parkinson's, did you decide to share that information with them immediately? And how did you go about it?
Well, they were 10 and 12 at the time. And yes, I did more or less share it with them straight away. We're not big into secrets in my family. We kind of just let everything, we're very open basically.
Yeah.
And they knew something was the matter because they'd seen things had changed recently. I did have a tremor. So they had noticed themselves. They're very astute. So we were going to Egypt that summer. And before we went, I sat them down and I just literally just told them. We put up a resource on the laptop, pulled up a resource from Parkinson's UK about people with Parkinson's and changes you might see in your mum or your dad, I think it was at the time. And it was a nice little book. It was great. But there was one thing in it which my son still remembers, my younger son. Mummy's smile might change.
Yeah.
And so, that's actually stayed with him. And another thing was they might be slower to eat or might choke on their food. And that stayed with him as well. So he's always very wary about me. If I cough while eating or anything like that, he's always worried I'm going to choke, and end up in problems. I think it was helpful to share it with them straight away because they are very supportive in themselves just by being them and carrying on and treating me as normal. What about you?
We did a very similar thing. We showed them a video of what Parkinson's was. Or what Parkinson's is. They didn't ask that many questions. They were sort of like, okay, can we get down now? A bit. But what I would say is I was also the child of a parent with Parkinson's, so I can see both sides. And my mother chose not to tell us. And so although I was much older, I was in my 20s, she lived with the condition for 10 years without telling us. And you talked about the mummy smile might change.
Yeah.
My mummy smile did change. I thought she would cross with me a lot of the time because of that smile changing. So
you realised yourself that something was the matter.
Exactly. What would you recommend to other people facing that? The video is obviously was a key thing for both of us. Is there anything else? it sounds like you did it perfectly.
I don't know about perfectly, but my older son took it in his stride very much. He's very much like, Mummy, are you okay? Are you going to be okay tomorrow? You're going to be fine. And I said, yes, I'm going to be fine, but I might just need a bit of extra help from time to time. The younger son became more anxious, and I think I would probably like to have had more information to hand to explain to him what Parkinson's is like, and perhaps I would have chosen a different information tool to teach him about what it can be like having a parent with Parkinson's, because like I said, he seemed to latch on to the mummy smile might change, and he seemed to fixate on the few of the negative things. And there are negative things, but I would maybe have chosen another way of breaking it to him, possibly.
It's difficult though, isn't it? Because every child's different and you're not sure how they're going to react. And as you say, just being open with them, I think, is the best thing. And do you think children are offered enough support?
It would be good if there were more resources targeted towards those with younger onset. I think it would be.
Yeah.
Perhaps more shorts like this and videos like this to go, because that's how children of today, they don't read really. Less my kids don't anyway, so I like to tell myself that all children don't read nowadays, but it might just be my information in the way that they can consume.
Are there any words of advice to children out there that you can suggest?
Don't treat your parents any differently, whichever parent it might be. Just crack on, be honest with them, encourage them to be honest, to support them. They're still going to be there for you the same way they were before.
Yeah.
So just crack on and live life and enjoy things.
If you'd like to know more about living with Parkinson's, please click here and subscribe to the channel.